Hi, here I am with my No Cam. This is the backyard archer, Richard Musser. And this is one of the most highly touted bows of 2015. And it's been really well reviewed on the internet already. My friend Paul Korn had put on a really good discussion about the science behind how this bow works and what makes it such a great shooter. I'm going to give you my 2 cents as the backyard archer who got obsessed with archery the last few years and just started shooting bows and shot a lot of different types of bows now, and tell you what I like about it. The first thing you're going to notice about this bow is it looks pretty big, but it's really only a 32 inch axle to axle bow. Yet it shoots and feels like a 35-inch axle to axle bow. I'm always shocked when I put it next to one of my other hunting bows and find out it's the same size or shorter. A lot of that is due just to having a really long riser and these shorter limbs. Now, I'm into speed. I really like the speed bows. I have a full throttle, a lot of other bows. And so I was a little bit hesitant to want to get a bow that's a little bit slower. But what I found out was that this bow has a lot of attributes that I wish you would see in the faster bows. So I guess every bow is a trade-off a little bit, as you know. You get a speed bow, you might get a little bit more vibration. You might have a more aggressive back wall, makes it a little harder to shoot. This bow is very comfortable in the shooting back wall, and it pulls a little bit different than any other bow. The best way for me to describe it almost feels like shooting a traditional bow, where it gradually starts easier when you're pulling, and then when you're getting to the back wall, it only kind of breaks at the very end. Yet it has a very, very solid back wall due to the limb stops on it. The bow finish is probably the best of just about any bow I've ever seen. I've taken this bow hunting already this season, and I still don't see any blemishes on it. And I've dragged it through weeds and up tree stands and things of that nature. I shot a really big really big bearded hen this time over at TCO, and thought it was a great bow. I shot her probably around 40 yards with this bow, right in the neck. I was aiming, probably was just kind of guesstimating the yardage, thought it might be a little bit further out because they get kind of small when they're out there, but nailed her right in the neck. And took her down at 40 yards, a little hen with a long beard, 7 and 8 inch beard, that is. The bow isn't that particularly fast, and it might be even a little slower than the 330 IBO that's rated at, but again, that's based on using the 70 or 75%. We actually have this at the 85% let off. So it's going to be a little bit slower, more like 320 feet per second IBO. And when I shoot it through the chrono, it's slow, probably one of the slowest bows I have. Yet it's one of the most vibration-free bows, one of the easiest bows to hold in my hand. It's one of these bows that anytime I feel, even when I'm tired, maybe from a long day of work or moving stuff, and your muscles are tired, you've been in the stand, you're cold, this bow is still easy to shoot. While my speed bows, I start thinking, do I really want to take those aggressive bows out in the middle of winter? This bow I feel comfortable with. When my muscles are stiff, this is the bow I go to shoot. So this is a great, easy bow that's fun to shoot all day long without necessarily wearing yourself out that well. Again, this bow is probably the quietest bow I have, and I have quite a number that you'll see on my channel that I shoot. It's also the most vibration-free bow that I've ever shot. I have the Bowtech RPM 360. Love the bow because it's fast. Thought it was the cat's meow. Never noticed the vibration much on that bow. I shot this bow, and all of a sudden, all these other bows, I could pick up the vibration that I never had on this one, just because the vibration was so much less than on the other bows. Obviously, you'll get, from looking at other reviews, you'll find out how the cams, or the no cam works, and how it keeps a nice level arrow and helps make it increase its accuracy. But again, this bow is really remarkable and fun to shoot. It's hard to explain that without shooting it a few times, I know, but it just feels something like a cross between a compound bow and a traditional bow, and yet it holds like a target bow. Let me go ahead and shoot this through there, this chronograph. This is a 380 grain arrow. This is a 70-pound bow. I have it set at 29-inch draw length. That's a little longer than I probably should be shooting at. but I think it gives you a better representation of the speed of the actual bow in relationship to IBO. Now, IBO is still at 30 inches with a 350 grain arrow. This is a 380 grain arrow, 382 grain arrow at 29 inches. So that 29 inches is going to automatically make it a little bit slower. Adding a little bit heavier arrows to make it a little bit slower. But that said, my friend Paul Korn, you can see from Paul Korn bow hunting channel, he shot a Cape buffalo with his no cam and had a clean kill. And so it shows you speed, for the most part, is overrated. I still am a speed freak. I still like seeing the pass-throughs and all that kind of stuff and have a little extra oomph. But the reality is this bow does the job on anything you could imagine hunting with. It does it quick. So I wouldn't get too concerned about how fast the bow is. How it shoots and how it shoots for you is the most important thing. You got to go out there and shoot it yourself to see if you really like it or not. Initially, I kind of had different thoughts about it because the draw cycle is quite a bit different than what you're used to. Most bows, a lot of times the draw cycle starts off heavy and then breaks right away. This one gradually builds up and then kind of drops off, and it's not an aggressive drop off like some of the speed bows I shot where you just all of a sudden you're right in the valley and hitting the back wall. This one kind of lets you into it a little bit more gradually. So pulling it back, it's really easy. All of a sudden you feel it and you're thinking, oh, this is where a lot of bows break off, and it just breaks off. Unbelievably solid back wall. Shooting it through the chrono, I get 283 feet per second. So that's 20 feet per second slower than some of the other bows I'm shooting. And again, even though the IBO rated is 320 or whatever, so it is a little bit slower. But the only thing you heard on that shot was me hitting the target. I didn't feel any vibration in this. And it held amazingly, and this draw is amazing. So those are the reasons why I would get this bow. Accuracy, just the way it draws, and the dead in the hand feeling. It's unlike any of the other bows, for the most part, that I've shot recently. And again, I tend to favor speed bows, but those other attributes make me want to be, this is my go-to bow, especially when it gets really cold outside.